I've come to, this is Madame Lloyd, also known as Madame Mohan, Das. I've come to Aberystwyth Stone Circle to repeat a poem that I wrote 11 years ago during the Occupy protests in London, when I was very privileged to take part in a peace walk through the sacred sites of London down the Coronation Line. And without further ado, I'm going to read this poem. It's up on All Poetry, called Circling the City with Love, a peace walk, Sunday 18th of December 2011. The 18th of December peace walk pierced the city's square mile like Cupid's arrow fired through the financial heart of London, straight down the winter solstice summer route, the ancient Coronation Line that has witnessed the crowning of 7 Saxon kings at the King's Stone, way down in Kingston Town, and all the British monarchs at Westminster Abbey since 1066. But most poignantly of all runs directly through the Occupy site in St Paul's Churchyard, where up to the time of Henry III, kings and queens were obliged to win the approval of the people before acceding to the throne. A vital reminder of the honourable history of true royalty, long before the contrived caste system abomination of succession by birthright was unlawfully imposed for the sole purpose of keeping power, wealth and influence retained in privileged families who long ago forgot the royal duty of honourable service to the people as national guardians, administrators and natural spiritual leaders. The days of mysterious unseen powers pulling strings behind the scene are now long past. No one has any secrets anymore, and the royal privilege of privacy in financial and political affairs is now being challenged with firm faith and expectation that the mighty rulers of this most powerful of nations once again find themselves required to step forward and speak directly with the people over whose lives they have reigned uninterruptedly for many centuries. With respect, dear Queen Elizabeth II and Lord Evelyn Rothschild, as respective leaders of the Church of England and what might best be termed the Church of Mammon, and whether or not you're the richest people on the planet, there's no avoiding the conspicuous truth that no one flaunts their wealth so lavishly during times when countless millions are suffering in unnecessary poverty and deprivation of even the most basic human necessities for survival, such as food and water, warmth and shelter, education, and the inalienable right to live with dignity as slaves to no one, free to choose whatever way of life nourishes the body and mind to the very highest degree. By the degrading effects of time itself, our once proud nation has degenerated into the very mother of abominations, described in the cryptic but all too accurate biblical book of Revelation that says it all, laid out in verses whose every prophecy has been fulfilled to the very letter by the truly powerful unseen hand of fate, which brings us to this very pregnant moment, up to date and right on time, to both witness and help create a new earth, the New Jerusalem, Blake's city of revelation, now manifest so tangibly in the staggering geometry that speaks a universal language, so definitive and unambiguous, we are humbled to witness the very hand of the Almighty, Lord and Creator of all universes, material and spiritual, speaking to us so loudly of a perfect way of living in harmony with nature, according to His law, that we cannot possibly accept anything other than His supreme authority. The only possible way ahead for British monarchy and its vast spoils of empire acquired by brutal means and ruthless financial manipulation, hand in glove with a criminally fraudulent banking system that has brought countless nations and individuals to their knees through endless wars and usury and calculated betrayal of every shred of human decency and morality, is to surrender now to the will of God and God's long-suffering people who have kept the faith somehow, in spite of treacherous systems of industrial education that have bewildered many unsuspecting generations into blind complicity and fearful conformity. Now, for the first time in history, the younger generations are better informed, better equipped, and much better able than our respected elders to shine the way ahead for humanity, when it has become abundantly clear that yesterday's men, trying to apply yesterday's methods of empire building in yesterday's world, are no longer fit to lead, conspicuously devoid as they are of the necessary honesty, integrity and moral fibre to manage the day-to-day running of our economy, education, food production and all the necessary services to meet our basic needs and keep us all healthy and happy. A pristine new earth, a fully renewed state of divine consciousness, of conscious awareness, has indeed descended like a bride adorned for her husband. Revelation 21. And it is most appropriate that the crown, the accumulated wealth that countless men, women and children have died for, should now be handed over to a democratically elected, honest group of people, fully trusted to manage and use it responsibly for the common good of all our fellow citizens. Dear Queen Elizabeth and Lord Rothschild, please don't try to ignore us now through the vast media empires under your control, but instead acknowledge the single biggest protest movement in human history, barely 2 months old, this was back in 2011, in its current form, that has united the most diverse of groups in every nation in one common aim, to put right what has for so long been very wrong indeed, to dismantle the obscenely criminal machinery of warfare and the even more obscene machinery of coldly calculated financial manipulation that has turned blind greed into the most vile of all religions at the cost of human sacrifice on a scale that beggars belief. We shall have no more of it. Ours is the way of peace and love, but please do not mistake softness of heart for weakness of resolve, for we stand strong, united in diversity, and unafraid to say now what our parents were simply unable to say through lack of knowledge. We are the informed generation, and we no longer intend to validate the now redundant old world order by making demands to people we cannot possibly trust. This is a bold and simple declaration that we stand together for the sake of 7.8 billion fellow beings. We no longer give consent to false authority of any kind, and we are fit to establish our own administrations, national and local, determine our own mutually agreed forms of currency, and make proper use of all available energy technology, natural medicines and proven healing techniques to maximise our health and happiness in body, mind and spirit. Please don't carry on pretending we don't exist, because when it comes down to it, all titles, wealth and privileges aside, we're just the same as you. Thank you for listening. Hare Krishna.